The con artist has struck, and it is for a defensive player here. The Pittsburgh Steelers have traded for New England Patriots safety Kyle Duggar. They are sending a late-round pick swap for Kyle Duggar to the New England Patriots, and this is certainly a move that indicates to me that the Pittsburgh Steelers are serious about fixing this defense. This is a player they have a vision for. And if I'm Chuck Clark and Juan Thornhill, I'd be shaking in my boots right now. Welcome into this breaking news edition of Steelers Talk, and this is why you guys subscribe to the channel, okay, guys? Because every time the con artist strikes, and this might not be the only move that the Steelers make before the trade deadline, okay? So make sure you guys click that subscribe button for the very latest Steelers news updates. And every time they have breaking news action, we are going to make sure to get you guys a video for free on this channel. So here is the official trade details. The Pittsburgh Steelers are getting Kyle Duggar and a 2026 7th-round pick, and they are sending a 6th-round pick next year to the New England Patriots. So in terms of the total amount of picks, the Steelers aren't giving up any draft picks here. They just downgrade one of their picks from a 6th-round pick to a 7th-round pick to get somebody to help out this secondary while DeShon Elliott is dealing with his injury. Tom Pelissero had the scoop today. Says, trade. The Patriots are sending safety Kyle Duggar to the Steelers, per sources. New England gets a 2026 6th-round pick for a 2026 7th, and Duggar, who had lost his starting role, now a new opportunity in Pittsburgh. And followed right after that was Pelissero's teammate there at NFL Network, Ian Rappaport, saying the Steelers are placing safety DeShon Elliott with a knee injury on injured reserve to make room for Duggar, source said. So that all makes sense to me, guys, okay? You make a trade like this, you downgrade one of your picks to get somebody at the safety position. Today, Mike Tomlin confirmed that DeShon Elliott has a hyperextended knee, and he said that they had not discussed about putting him on IR at that point. Well, obviously, they had that conversation today, and apparently the medical professionals that work for the Steelers recommended that, he's not going to be available for the next month, so the Steelers decided to put DeShon on IR, which will put him out for at least the next 4 games, and now they're going to replace his spot on the active Steelers roster here with Kyle Duggar. And Duggar is somebody that's a former first-round pick, very versatile player, very athletic player. He's a downhill thumper that's known as one of the more versatile safeties in the National Football League. Now, he's getting a bit older. As Pelissero mentioned, he did lose his starting job to not one but 2 rookies in that New England Patriots defense, with Mike Vrabel coming in, but really big, versatile, downhill thumping type of safety, known as more of a, run defender than maybe a coverage player at 216 pounds, around the same size, actually, as his former Patriot teammate, Jabril Peppers, who, lo and behold, is playing here with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So he's got that established chemistry with Jabril Peppers, and if the plan is to play Peppers and Duggar at the safety spot over the next several weeks here, at least over the next month before DeShon Elliott gets back, having that chemistry between those two, and of course Peppers having that relationship with Duggar, should help Duggar get ramped up in the week to come. We'll see if he ends up playing versus the Indianapolis Colts. He should be in Pittsburgh tomorrow, and he should be good to practice, and who knows, maybe he gets ramped up in time to get a nice start for the Pittsburgh Steelers this Sunday right after he gets traded tonight. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. What is your one-word reaction to this trade? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. At the other end of our sponsor break here, guys, I'm going to let you guys know my one-word reaction. Make sure you get down there for today's pinned question and let me know your one-word reaction. And with that, let's have a word from our sponsor today at GLD. All right, fellas, let's be real. Buying men's jewelry used to be an absolute nightmare. It was low-quality junk that snapped after a week, or it was insanely overpriced with ridiculous markups. That's why I rock with GLD. They've changed the game in men's jewelry. You're getting quality pieces that are built to last without breaking the bank. And unlike a lot of other companies, GLD only uses real gold. None of that cheap stuff. Every single stone is meticulously hand set. Plus, their proprietary production process makes sure you're getting the highest quality jewelry possible. You can literally see and feel the difference with GLD. And a big shout out to GLD for shipping me out here an awesome Steelers pennant. I actually wore it on the Steelers Talk watch party last week versus the Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football. I really love it, guys, and I think I'm going to be wearing it on every single watch party this year. And it's more than just Steelers, guys. You can get a bunch of different teams. You can get your college team as well. And, of course, you can get a Steelers pennant. They got multiple different options as well. So I really love the price point that GLD brings to the table as well as the quality. And you know that feeling when you get your new chain, it just hits different. It elevates your whole fit, the confidence, the compliments, the way you carry yourself all changes instantly. And GLD has everything from chains to pendants, rings, earrings, even fully iced out watches if that's your style. And listen, don't just take my word for it. Over 2 million customers and 50,000 five-star reviews backs it up. Not to mention, it's worn by some of the biggest names out there like Justin Bieber, Micah Parsons, Tyreek Hill, Malik Neighbors, A$AP Rocky, and a ton more. The best part, every single piece from GLD is guaranteed for life. It's literally built to last for the rest of your life, just like your love for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Work hard and change the game. For a limited time only, new customers are getting an insane deal here. Use code CHAT to get 50% off plus a free chain at GLD.com. That's 50% off and a free chain with code CHAT at GLD.com. After your purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. A big shout out to GLD for sponsoring today's edition of Steelers Talk. So my one-word reaction to this trade is versatility, because that is what Kyle Duggar is really known for, and specifically his versatility, being able to be a bigger safety and be kind of a run support safety in particular. He's somebody that's a really reliable tackler. He's somebody that really takes blocks on well. He does a lot of the things that DeShon Elliott did really well in this Steelers defense, and now that you're going to be missing Elliott's presence, it's very clear that the Pittsburgh Steelers wanted somebody that they trusted even more than Jabril Peppers to play that role, and that built-in chemistry with Peppers, I think, indicates that the Steelers do plan on playing Duggar and Peppers at the safety position moving forward. Now you guys can take a look here at his stats over the last 4 years with the New England Patriots, and you guys can see, man, he's been a very productive player over the years. He's been a ball hawk at certain times. He can force fumbles. He puts up a lot of tackles, man. He is very athletic for his size. Now, I don't know if he's like a true free safety center fielder type where you're going to trust him to go sideline to sideline from a center field alignment or anything like that. But it's very clear that the Steelers really like Duggar's run blocking skill set, and then also, taking away tight ends. That's another big thing that DeShon Elliott is asked to do in this defense, and it might be something that the Steelers ask him to do as early as this week, going up against a guy like Tyler Warren. I suggested earlier today on X that you put Jalen Ramsey at safety this week because you need somebody that can cover tight ends, and that's one of the things that Kyle Duggar is best at. So when I look at Duggar's profile, I see somebody that's a really good run defender. He can get off blocks. He's very used to being able to do disguises, and he's a much better fit, I would say, in the Pittsburgh Steelers defense than what he was under that new Mike Vrabel scheme. That Vrabel scheme kind of requires a little bit lighter safeties that can move around. Duggar wasn't somebody that was necessarily fitting that bill, and the Steelers bring in kind of a lighter safety today, 200-pounder that's also runs a 4.41, and Mr. Derek Forrest. He's being added to the practice squad. We'll see what happens with him. He was a former starter for the Washington Commanders, and I think that's a pretty sneaky good signing. I think a big takeaway that I have with this, guys, and you can send me full screen here, Ponzi, I think that this is a clear indication that the Steelers kind of understand they have a safety problem right now with Chuck Clark, with Juan Thornhill. We saw those two guys play in the second half on Sunday when DeShon Elliott left the game, and it just wasn't pretty. Okay, Juan Thornhill I think is a little bit better than Chuck Clark. I think if they end up cutting one of these guys, it would probably end up being Clark, especially once they eventually get DeShon Elliott back. And that's another thing about this deal, guys, is that Elliott is expected to be back at some point this season, or at least it sounds that way. And if that's the case, Kyle Duggar and his value, I think, becomes as a third safety piece. Okay, and you can come in those kind of dime package looks, and you can maybe take Patrick Queen off the field. And let's face it, Patrick Queen, who's been a really good early down linebacker, he's been really good as a blitzer, he's been really good in run defense this year. I think Patrick Queen There's a lot of things to like about him, but he is sometimes a liability in coverage, especially zone coverage. And bringing in a guy like Duggar allows you to potentially match him up with the likes of Peyton Wilson, who's an excellent coverage linebacker, and that just fortify this passing defense that much more in those situations. But for the time being, obviously, I think Duggar is probably going to be your starting strong safety. We'll see if he gets ramped up in time to play for the play in the Colts game this week. He's going to have a full week of practice, so I don't think there's necessarily any reason to think that he can't get ramped up in time. But, it certainly seems like the Pittsburgh Steelers want to make a change at safety. They understand that, especially with Elliott out of the lineup, that is a problem area when it comes to the personnel on this team. And they feel like Duggar's ability to stop the run, be versatile, do a lot of the things that DeShon Elliott does in this defense, and then also provide help as a third kind of safety once Elliott comes back is going to be something that I think can really benefit the Pittsburgh Steelers. And for the price tag, guys, just, moving a 6th-round pick down to a 7th-round pick, you're not even giving up the total amount of picks that you have in the draft next year. I think it's good value for Omar Khan and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, if you would have told me that this was the price tag to go get Kyle Duggar after this DeShon Elliott injury, I would have taken it every single day of the week. And, one of the reasons why you click that subscribe button here on Steelers Talk is we actually mentioned Kyle Duggar as the guy that the Steelers would target in a trade if they wanted to go get a safety. So that's exactly why you click that subscribe button. But make sure you guys let me know down there in the comments section. Grade the Kyle Duggar trade before I give some final thoughts here before we say goodbye. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Obviously, the final grade is gonna come in due time, but right now I would have to say, A-, B+, getting a good player for very low price tag that can help your defense right now. Right now, I don't see too many downsides with making this move for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, just some final thoughts here before we say goodbye for this breaking news edition of Steelers Talk. I think that Duggar's somebody that obviously can help you out in the short term while DeShon Elliott is on IR with that hyperextended knee. I think he immediately plugs in as your starting strong safety. Now, a question that I do have is, what happens to the free safety position? Are you planning on putting Jabril Peppers, another 217-pounder, out there at free safety? Are you planning on eventually getting Derek Forrest ramped up to play free safety? Like, what exactly is the plan here? Are you planning on playing more split safety stuff? Because I don't really see Jabril Peppers or Kyle Duggar playing a true free safety role. But, the Steelers do play a lot of split safety stuff, but they also play a lot of true single high safety stuff as well. So do they just trust Jabril Peppers to play that role? Are they going to, continue to not give Peppers any snaps on defense and they're just going to play Duggar at strong safety? Like, there are legitimate questions here when it comes to this deal. And then another thing to keep in mind is that Duggar's under contract for not 1, but 2 more years after this year, and he's got a pretty hefty price tag. So unless Duggar balls the F out this year, I think that he probably gets cut next offseason regardless because he doesn't have any more guaranteed money on his deal. But just keep that in mind where this is a player that's under contract for a couple more seasons after this year. So maybe the Steelers have, an open mind to keeping him long term. He's still, he's 29 years old, so he's getting up there in age. And, for an athletic player like this, you can certainly see some regression physically coming on the horizon, especially at the price tag that he's at right now. But overall, I think it's a good short-term move for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think it makes this team better. And for the price tag, I think it's a pretty darn good value for Steelers GM Omar Khan. All right, that'll be it for today's breaking news edition of Steelers Talk. I'm going to have more color and more context and more numbers to kind of back up everything. This is a true breaking news situation where we're getting information to you guys as soon as possible. So tomorrow we'll probably have more information on this trade and kind of what the role could potentially be, all these different things, my full scouting report. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button. That video, I think, will probably come out tomorrow morning. So I really do appreciate all of your guys' support. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button because if the con artist strikes again, we're going to be back here with another video. So thank you guys so much for all of your support. I'll see you guys next time. And until then, here we go, Steelers.